Hello and welcome. It's day 3 now of the 4th edition of the Tour of Beijing, and the riders now find the more serious climbs in the mountains that are to the north of the capital of the People's Republic of China. The race now getting tightly posed as the next 2 days of racing are all in the hills. And the riders here all set to leave the same town where they should have finished yesterday in Yanqing. But in fact the race cut short as the riders felt the air conditioning was simply not healthy. So they stopped some 36 kilometres short on top of a third category climb, but it did give us a new leader of the Tour in Philippe Gilbert, now leading the race by just 5 seconds over the South African rider Reinhard Janse van Rensburg. Well, as always here in this race, the traditional colour and the pomp at the start, as everybody now waits for the riders as they face up to a ride of 176 kilometres. 131 riders still remain in this race from the 135 that took the start 3 days ago.
We'll see you again at the race start and enjoy stage 3 of this year's race.
Well, what a difference 24-hour makes, because the smog has blown away, the temperature has cooled a little bit, but it is in fact a very, very pleasant autumn day now here in Yanqing as the riders make ready for the start. And today 7 climbs on the agenda as we watch Rigoberto Urán sign in, the leader of Amigo Pharma Quickstep. He may wait another 24 hours before we see him in the big mountains when we have our only mountaintop finish tomorrow. Ben Swift signing in there. This is a stage last year which was won by the sprinters. Nasser Bouhanni getting the best of the rest, but on the other hand, an introduction of one more hill before the race ends might make it a more difficult proposition for them. Philippe Gilbert gaining the red jersey of race leadership yesterday by sprinting clear to take the stage ahead of Reinhard Janse van Rensburg. Esteban Chavez, who is another man that will be contemplating these next 2 days of racing here in the Tour of Beijing, because in the next 48 hours now the race winner is surely going to be decided, because the last stage down in the centre of the capital city Beijing, starting at Tiananmen Square and finishing at the nearby Bird's Nest Stadium. Happy days for the Australian from Canberra, Rory Sutherland signing in with his Tinkoff Saxo team. Certainly over these last 3 days the riders have found the art of writing, but not all can find the right number to sign in at, as they've had plenty of jokes about that. Graham Brown also signing in from Perth. This is Janse van Rensburg, shot to the fore yesterday, almost won the day. Finally had to settle for second place. Now who's next? No, yes, yep, number 1. And that's the man who won the race a year ago, Benya Intausti. And now watch this, because this is the smallest man in the race. And this is Dalen Quintana, being helped up by his teammates there to reach the top to sign in. All the riders sign in. Let's have a look at the race route itself on this 3rd day of racing. It's the longest stage of 176 kilometres. After Yanqing we go into an easterly direction, dropping to the south through the hills, beautiful scenery all day today, and finally swinging around northwest of Beijing by about 150-200 kilometres. And as we join the action now, the big peloton down there from the helicopter are going to see those rides all day long. This is the solemn faces, but I don't know why, because today is such a different day in contrast. Philippe Gilbert, one of the protagonists, to suggest to the organisers they reduced the distance of the race yesterday because of the non-purified atmosphere of the smog. And everybody today now facing up to a beautiful day. Chilly, but blue skies, a little bit of sun out, and the riders facing the hilliest race of the stage so far. 7 categorised climbs. Our man from Namibia become a character in the field here, the bearded Dan Craven, the only professional cyclist from Namibia, this year riding a full World Tour season on the Europe car squad, and indeed his first Grand Tour, which he's just come off from the Tour of Spain. Traditional rollout at the 0 kilometre, the flag goes in and the racing is underway. Now the interesting part about the start today is that riders fighting to get clear, and look what's happened. And the biggest group so far to succeed in an escape here, 6 riders getting clear some 23 kilometres in. At the first sprint of the day, which came after 17 kilometres, it was Tyler Farrer, the American, on Garmin Sharp, who got the points and has actually taken a lead on the road now in the green points jersey. So Philippe Gilbert losing his grip on that for the moment at least. These 6 riders on the first climb of the day were Michel Golash, was first over the top, and that's him at the front there, taking the points in the King of the Mountains. Then pulled away, Michel Golash taking away his teammate Julien Alaphilippe from France. Deya Quintana was in the breakaway as well. And here near the back, Karsten Kroon, well, he's at the front at the moment in the yellow jersey, and Julien Berard, who is at the back of the group. But it looks as though Alaphilippe here wants to go back and have a chat with his team cars here. This is now the 4th climb of the day as the riders continue on. And I can tell you, the man who has been dominating in this breakaway on these summits, and he's done it again here, is the Polish rider from Amiga Pharma Quickstep, Michel Golash. He has won every climb so far, 3rd categories and 2nd category climbs. And there's the confirmation of the climb, 99 kilometres in of the 176. Golash again, maximum 12 points. This is the 1st category climb of the day, and that has now given him a lead in the King of the Mountains competition. Until today, the leader back in the peloton, Tosh van der Sonde of the Belgium Lotto Belisol team, is now out of that polka dot jersey when he gets to the finish. He can't get back into this today. And it looks as though the sprinters team's giving a hand out to the BMC team of Philippe Gilbert as well. Because with the hills slowly coming and going, there's still a 2nd category climb to come and a 3rd category climb before the finish. And then we run down at high speed into the finish itself in Shanjiadian. And there's the gap. That's just about as big as it's been. We've been very, very slightly higher at 4 minutes 12 seconds now, and still 63 kilometres to go. Garmin Sharp driving at the front here, have a candidate for the overall win in Dan Martin, who finished 2nd last year. Martin May now, seeing the way this race is going, a peloton chasing a main breakaway of 6, maybe thinking more of tomorrow when we have our only mountaintop finish. It was on that stage a year ago when Martin tried to win the race and had to settle for 2nd place overall. Filippo Pozzato chatting with the team car. He's at the back of the main field here, which is pretty much all together today. Racing through Yanqing County here, most beautiful area indeed. Alla fine, all is good so far for Pozzato. Not surprising to see Team BMC on the front here, with Philippe Gilbert holding on to a very narrow lead overall after he's taking the win bonus of 10 seconds yesterday. Well, there's another one on offer today. Karsten Kroon here, 38 years of age, one of the oldest men in the race, and before this race started telling everybody this was to be his retirement week, and he's changing his mind. And it looks as though he's got good form as well, number 156, being told here by the spectators to slow down in English. But I don't think they'll be doing any of that. There is a good descent just ahead of them coming up. Some 25 rivers course through this beautiful area just north of the city of Beijing, and the purest water in China. Peloton really speeding now and clearly having an effect on the time gap. It is coming down. Well, the organisers put an extra hill on this route compared with last year, and it doesn't seem to have broken up the peloton. It looks, the way this race is shaping up, it's going to be showdown tomorrow just outside the city of Montaugo. on the only mountaintop finish. We're racing today towards a beautiful area. In fact, this is the area that goes back to the Jurassic period here, and not too far away from the finishing line, although we won't see it, there is a huge petrified dinosaur print on one of the big rocks there. So that goes back literally millions of years. This is not a throwaway breakaway. We often refer to the breakaways that get away early on and gamble on a long ride to the finish. 95% of the time they get caught, and we call it the early morning break. But this is a very good breakaway today. These 6 riders here, 3 of them have a realistic chance of becoming the next leader of the Tour. And the best placed is Julien Alaphilippe. He's only 11 seconds off that red jersey of Philippe Gilbert, so I'll have to watch for him. Rigobert Urán seems to me to be gambling everything now on tomorrow's mountain stage. The man who's twice finished second in the last 2 editions of the 3-week Giro d'Italia. And his team have got big things for him tomorrow. And at the moment he's on a free ride because he's got 2 teammates in that front group. One is Alaphilippe and the other one is Mikel Golash, who's cleaning up in the King of the Mountains department. And I hope none of the other riders feel hungry, because that looks as though it could be stolen at a minute's notice. And don't forget, you can join the conversation always on Twitter, and it's hashtag TOB2014. And this is Carlos Betancur here, the Colombian, who's sat at the back of the field. It's a position he seems to have occupied ever since he won Paris-Nice back in March this year, and he followed his way around the 3 weeks of the Tour of Spain. He's only a young rider, and perhaps now anxious to finish the season, and this will be his last race of the year. He's a very good climber and got terrific prospects. Ji Cheng, the Chinese cyclist that was the first Chinaman to ride the Tour de France and finish it as well, and my goodness me, what a strong rider he is, riding a World Tour event on home soil today for Ji Cheng. And there's no passioners in this breakaway, and there's no flat road either, we have to say that. It's up or it's down, and the road service is absolutely formidable. And apparently this will be the legacy of the Tour de Beijing, because many of the racecourse routes have been totally resurfaced for this event, and what a good job they've done as well. Good roads like this do take a little bit of the sting out of a climb on bad roads, that's for sure. 46.5 kilometers left to go. Breakaway still over 2.5 minutes. And the scenery stunning. Now, there are not many roads in this area, but as you can see, they are absolutely beautiful roads. Long snaking climbs these. They're high-speed climbs, as we see the tail of the convoy here behind the peloton, winding its way around. And they're definitely closing in. There's the time check for you, 2 minutes 15 seconds now. There's some fine fast riding being done at the front, and a lot of people in that field waiting for the catch. They know that the team of the leader are going to do most of the work, but there's also 1 or 2 teams now beginning to work at the front there who have only sprinters on the squad, and they'll be thinking at the finish. The finish today is a sharp right-hand bend exactly 500 meters from the line, and they're going to approach that finish at a very high speed indeed. It's going to be crucial to get round that corner amongst the first 6 to 10 riders, I would think. Minute 26, the gap is now coming down quite alarmingly here as we get up towards the top of the second category climb. Just a kilometre to go. Penultimate climb of the day. And again, nobody in that breakaway really challenging Golash, but it's been a very good performance also by Carsten Kroon, because he's moving up steadily into second place in that competition too. He's always playing second whenever he gets the chance to Michael Golash on these climbs. So we ride right round the rim here. The autumn tints reflecting the sun, which is now breaking through mid-afternoon. This is an area which enjoys very temperate summers, quite cool weather in the summer, and attracts the people from Beijing during their hot summer down in the basin. And they also get a lot of snow up here in the winter, which is creates some of the great ski slopes. And if you're a mountain biker, there are some well marked out long distance trails that go through these hills here, and also place to place where you can stay the night. So it is really an area of protected natural beauty, but also for the sports people. 100 meters to go. On the front is Golash. Carsten Kroon is shadowing him here. I wonder if he'll try to take him on in the sprint. I've got a feeling he won't, because there's the line. So maximum points for Golash, who's beginning to make this King of the Mountains competition in one day look as though he'll keep it to the end. Tomorrow are the last 6 climbs. He still can be technically passed, and the last day, of course, is totally flat, so that competition will end tomorrow. Now, the team of 2 riders on the front here, well, 3 I guess. Warren Barguil, who is possibly the long-term prospect of Giant Shimano for final victory, and they've got 2 sprinters here now in Reinhard Janse van Rensburg and also Luka Mecic, who won the first stage and briefly held the leader's red jersey. Either of those riders could be going for the finish. It could be very important for Janse van Rensburg, because he's only 5 minutes off the race lead, and a first or second place today, once they've caught these 6, and if they catch these 6, would give Janse van Rensburg the red jersey of leadership away from Gilbert. All in the future, perhaps. 42 kilometers left to go, about 25.5 miles. And again, tipping over that little climb, high speed, beautiful descents on good roads. A little bit of a shout here from our camera bike as they start to run down here. Now they're going to be going through on these descents 1 kilometer in about 45 seconds. And the peloton is really stretching here. Riders follow wheels, but they prefer to see the road ahead when you're racing down. It's not good form to follow somebody else's racing pattern. You must think for yourself, even though you're in that long line of riders. If you get the line wrong, then you crash. Simple as that. Golash had a terrific day out. Won everything that's mattered to him, from 0 points in the King of the Mountains to now a huge lead of over 30 points. Peloton chasing down, closing the gap second by second. Still plenty of time in their favour to catch those 6 riders. But it's interesting that it's Giant Shimano doing all the chasing and not Philippe Gilbert's BMC team, which indicates to me they believe that they can deliver the winner to the line today in Mecic, as they did 2 days ago. Well, take a look where the front of the peloton is on the far right of our television screens, and look where the tail is. They must be about 40 seconds apart just now on this long, long road, and I suspect there is a hole appearing in the middle of this peloton, so some of the riders not coping too well with that descent. Carsten Kroon calling for his team service car behind, and this is Dea Quintana. His brother, of course, is Nero Quintana, this year's winner of the Giro d'Italia, and had a spectacular crash in the Tour of Spain a few weeks ago. And this youngster seems to be every bit as good as his brother in the future, I suggest. First year professional. He was the one they all lifted up this morning to try and sign at the top of the board, which was where they placed his number. Now there's a split in the field here, and this has been caused by that long descent off the mountain. This is a chase group down there. And there's quite a lot of riders being caught out off the back. Here's the close-up of it. And it looks as though Europe car and those dark green jerseys are having to do much of the work to get through. number 67 there, Lachlan Morton, on the Garmin Sharp team. I've seen he's got a teammate in Phil Guyman, also in this group, just coming into our picture there. Anyway, the panic is over. It's been a bit of a chase coming off that mountain, but they are going to rejoin the big pack without too much bother at the end of the day. It's just one small climb to come now. At around about 30 kilometers in, we pass through the last sprint of the day, and then 11 kilometers from the finish we top out the last climb of the day, and then it really is all downhill. A very high speed charge through to the finish. BMC helping out with the chase because they've got the leader on the team. Giant Shimano swapping turns all of the time at the front. The green jersey down the line there is actually one of those team members, because that is Janse van Rensburg. He's wearing the green jersey as leader of the points classification, which he isn't, but at the start of the day Philippe Gilbert, who wears the red jersey, also leads in that competition, so it's gone automatically to the rider sitting in second place in the classification. So he's wearing green, makes him easy to pick out, but the man who actually owns that green jersey just now is Tyler Farrer, after winning the first sprint of the day. All a little bit complex, but these cyclists have got it all worked out as we approach the sprint here. And I don't really expect a sprint at all, because it's not important to the breakaway. Quintana taking them through, is he? Oh, just about, over Julien Berard in second place. Alaphilippe started the day 11 seconds behind, best placed man in this breakaway. But dreams of a red jersey tonight, I think, are going out of the back door now. Another man who's just gone out the back door of the peloton here is last year's winner, demoted from race favourite to carrying the bottles for his team, because he lost 18 minutes on the first day, Benyat in Sausty. Well, he's got room for one more. And the Movistar team have had an excellent season. The winner of the World Tour, even without counting this event, will be in Sausty's teammate Alejandro Valverde, who's not here. He pulled out because he had no reason to ride here for the World Tour points when Alberto Contador injured his knee. He was the only man who could have caught Valverde at the top of the classification. So they've gone through, and that's nothing like that's inside a minute now. I would suggest about 58, 59 seconds for the peloton. They've still got this long climb to come, which takes us to 11 kilometers out. And so there's plenty of time for them to bring this race to heel completely for the sprint. It's going to be a very, very fast finish today. And the plan by the organisation to toughen up the stage a little bit, they've done that, but it hasn't split the field at all. Team BMC continuing to put one man in the front running. Ian Boswell just sat near the rear here for Team Sky. Well, the field looks as though it's now totally regrouped after that little chase off the mountains. For the moment, coursing past the maize fields here, slowly being crushed and cropped. And it gives you some indication of the good weather that abounds in this valley, because all the villages here, many of these villages have never been down to Beijing, and they grow all of their own food and cultivate everything they need to live on, and also have their own farms as well, with their chickens and cows and pigs. Totally self-sufficient up here in the mountains. Inside 28 kilometers now. Still waiting for a further time check, but it's got to be inside a minute to the peloton. Riders preoccupied here at the back of the race. This is Steven Kruijswijk. Still might be a man to worry about tomorrow on the climbs. And it's obvious now that the men are keeping all of the powder dry for tomorrow's mountaintop finish. It was a big show down there a year ago, everybody hitting each other that felt they could win the race. They knew whoever won the day last year up the mountain would win the race, and that's exactly what happened. And it looks to me as though that's the pattern for tomorrow now. This is the breakaway, a little bit disorganised. I think Quintana spotted that, the young rider, decided to put in, this isn't a real attack, this is to try and shake them all up to keep the rhythm. Well, Michael Golash is up for the fight. So too is Le Cuisinier in the blue jersey there. For 3 days now we've had a rider in the blue Française des Jeux in every breakaway. Last 2 days they've been voted the most aggressive rider of the race in Laurent Magel and also in first day's Jérémy Roy. Now, little chat at the back here, and it looks the man on the far side is the erstwhile leader, I'm afraid to say now, Tosh van der Sande. He's lost that polka dot jersey today. There's a possibility he could get it back tomorrow. He hasn't lost it completely, but boy, Golash is building up so much now. An overall lead in that King of the Mountains. Just chatting there with Stig Brooks, a 22-year-old, first-year professional, and he's completing his season in a World Tour race here in Beijing. Not quite the spring flowers down there, but certainly some beautiful flowers grown for the market, and looks like the last field is lavender. "25 kilometers left to go now. That means we'll top out the climbs at 11. This is the breakaway, and it looks, oh dear me, a shake of the head there. I'm a little bit surprised, Julien Alaphilippe at the back, because he's the highest placed in this breakaway, but it looks to me as though he knows he's not going to make this. It's been a long breakaway. He was in the breakaway yesterday with 3 riders who had lost 18 minutes, and because he was only a few seconds off the race lead, the race chased until the riders in the breakaway persuaded him to drop back, which he did. He fell back to the peloton, and the peloton turned off the gas, allowing 3 lowly placed riders almost the full day in the saddle, but they picked them up before the end. 49 seconds, well inside the minute now, and BMC just sending more help to the front. It's very difficult to pick out the race leader, Gilbert, because of his red jersey, to be confused with the Belgian Lotto Belisol team and also his own team, which have red jerseys on as team colours. But he is the red jersey with red shoulders, which the others don't have, so you can spot that. Quintana just looking over his shoulder here. It's been a good break for him. He's waited for the hills. He's a Colombian, of course. They prefer the hills to the flat. Julien Berard just passing through. He's on the right of our picture now, and that's the site they didn't want to see, because the peloton has shut it right down. Carsten Kroon looking over his shoulder. I often wonder how a rider feels when he turns around and he sees the pack right behind after such a long race in the lead, over 130 kilometers up front. Looks like Berard's going again. Reaction from Golash. Alaphilippe has already gone. I think he's been picked up by the pack. The other 2 at the back have gone. Le Cuisinier is gone. Quintana's gone. That leaves 3. Determined not to give up. Well, Golash is very close, about 2 kilometers from the summit of the climb, the last climb, and if he won this, he would have every climb of the day, all 7 climbs, first place. I'm not sure he can hold this lot off right now. You've got rider Hejerdal on the front now, the only Canadian to win the Giro d'Italia. But Golash is going to keep this, and Kroon wants to go with him because he's consolidating a 2nd place in the King of the Mountains. Berard, the other Frenchman, the only Frenchman in the breakaway right now. It's a Dutchman, Polish rider, and the Frenchman, these 3 riders here. It was a very international breakaway with the Colombian as well. Well, Berard looked over at the right time because he saw no one there. That'll give him the encouragement to keep going. But Belkin also beginning to have faith in the sprint finish now, because they've got Hofland as a sprinter. And they'll try and bring him up to the line. The far right there, the red jersey, that is Philippe Gilbert, and he's got himself in a perfect position now. He doesn't want to make any mistakes as they come up towards the last climb of the day. He needs to hold a good position in the peloton. The race down will be extremely quick. Initially, they'll be able to hit speeds of 60 kilometers an hour. We've got an attack here. This is Movistar trying to disturb the situation. Juusonen, the champion of Finland, trying to reach him. Well, he'll find the weather definitely warm today compared with the Finnish winter, I would think. Tries to cross that gap to these three leaders first. Berard, I'm hearing from the race, has just been voted the most aggressive rider of the day, and there he is on the front. That's voted by the race referees each day on the most aggressive rider. And Berard's now looked across. They're all on him now. And this is Adam Hansen moving up on the right. They've swept away those other attackers. Juusonen trying to get on board in the white. Well, this is a great move, you know, by Adam Hansen. He's ridden the last 10 Grand Tours. If you just imagine those, the tours, by the way, are France, Italy and Spain. He's ridden all three for the last 3 years, and finished off just recently with his 10th in a row with the Tour of Spain for this year. And just those races alone totaled over 35,000 kilometres of racing. He won stage 19 this year of the Vuelta a España with a move exactly like this, leaving the front group on his own close to the finish, and they couldn't catch him. This is a good move by Adam Hansen, making the most of the cooler weather here in the north of China before he goes to Cairns, where he lives in Australia, where he'll find the weather getting quite warm now as summer hits that side of the coral reef. King of the Mountains in trouble there. Tosh van der Sande obviously getting tired. Funnily enough, he was 7th on this stage last year, but he wasn't defending the King of the Mountains lead. Hansen keeping going here, looking purely for a stage win. Not interested in anything else. He's a kilometre from the summit now. Not even interested in the 5 points at the top of the climb. If there's one man can hold off the peloton on his own, it is Adam Hansen. And a good move, because he's not affecting the destiny of the overall leadership of the race either right now. And it looks to me as though he might have two riders there coming across the gap. So if he can get himself a little bit of help. Moreno Arredondo. Taking the moment well as he tries to get across the gap. Hansen sees him coming. That's a tall rider coming up, but I can't believe that it's Nicholas Mace trying to reach them, because he's normally a sprinter and would be expecting this race to become a sprint finish now. Tall man. Three riders get it together here. Hansen knows they have a chance. Former time trial champion of Australia, won the title in Buninyong, which is in the state of Victoria, about 150 kilometres from Melbourne itself. Two together, field about to swamp everybody else. Almost at the top of the climb. Rory Sutherland moving up. An Australian chasing an Australian, but on different teams. 100 metres to the summit. Arredondo over the top. Hansen with him. Sutherland goes over third, trying to reach them. Well, Adam Hansen knows the ability of Rory Sunderland, especially as a time trialist, so if they get together, it looks to me as though this chase is now. The sprinters now know their tails are up. This is going to be a sprint finish, and they're going to change all of their tactics and thoughts now. And it's going to be tomorrow when this race will be decided in the high mountain finish. 12 kilometres of climbing to the line tomorrow. Beautiful high-speed descent. 70, 80 kilometers an hour they'll go down here, sweeping bends. Challenges to try and test the skill and the nerve of some of the riders back in that main field. And on what is turning out to be a beautiful day for racing, perfect visibility. Well, there's the catch on the left and Andondo on the right, so they're all back together now. It's a group again. One or two of the teams are going to start looking for their sprinters now and try and bring them up near the front. They've got time, 10 kilometers to go. The last half kilometer, remember, is on that right-hand bend. Now you can see the finish, but you need teammates in front of you to get to the finish. It's a big field too, and they might lose a few on this high-speed descent. Riders at the back may not want to take too much risk if they've not got a chance of winning the day. But we're going to do 45-second kilometers now at these speeds around these bends. One of the teams of the year, Omega Pharma Quickstep. I haven't got the latest win total, but they have won as a team more than 70 races this year in the varying disciplines of the sport. Just going to watch these. Sometimes, as is the case with that corner, adverse camber, very tight bend, throws you away from the apex. And the front breaking up a little bit under the pressure, and there's one or two riders descending with more caution. You can see gaps in that field now, and if these riders at the front start to sense they're splitting the field on the descent, they'll push on, because there are definite gaps in that long line. Gilbert never misses a trick. He's a very intelligent rider, the Belgian. He's fourth or fifth rider down in the second red jerseys. We look at them there. Fifth rider from the helicopter, watching everything. There he is on the far right of our picture, in a perfect position. He's lacking teammates at the moment, but he's handling himself okay. He's a rider who normally likes to win the way he won yesterday, up a small sharp climb where he can leave the riders for dead, but he can, when he wants to, produce a very, very strong sprint finish. And when you're wearing a race leader's jersey, sometimes that's all the incentive you need. Now, under the rules of international cycling, if all the riders finish like this together, they all get the same time. And so it's only the first three that would alter the time standings, because they get small bonuses. And this man's not waiting to find out, because this is Carlos Betancourt who's put in a move here. First time we've seen him off the back of the race since we started, but this is a very serious move. And so he needs this, I think. He needs it to sort of regain his confidence as he goes through 5 kilometers to go. A little bit of a gap. The riders on the front of the peloton looking who's going to take up the chase. The sort of hesitation you often like to see if you're making an attack. It's all downhill before we make the right-hand turn to the finish in 4.5 kilometers time. Peloton has concertinaed into a main field again, wondering now, I suspect, as to who is going to take up the chase. There's a chance there now to reposition your sprinters while the pressure's gone off. Looks like a rider from Europcar trying to reach him. One of the French riders. Well, this will be a morale-boosting performance, at least for the Colombian rider, Betancourt. Hand's gone up there for some sort of service. There's no more feeding from the race now, of course. The riders, under the international rules, in the last 20 kilometres can't do anything but race now. Team Sky. Well, they've come to the front a lot later than they did on Monday, when they spent the whole day at the front and in the end got nothing out of it. But now it looks to me as though they're trying to set up Ben Swift for the victory again today. Inside 4 kilometres to go. Continuing towards, steadily downhill towards that right-hander. for the riders. The white jerseys on the far left coming forth now. They're trying to bring up the youngest man in the race who almost won on the first day, Caleb Ewan, the 21-year-old. And this is an interesting move now because a number of teams have organised themselves. Orica Green Edge at the top of our picture, Sky in the centre, Belkin are organised. Team BMC are trying to get amongst it. And Team Sky on the front. Bernie Eisel looking down. The red jersey momentarily obscured by other riders, but he's still up here. Philippe Gilbert dropped back a couple of places. I can see the pink jerseys too because they ride for Sacha Modolo or Ricasi rather, two sprinters. There's absolutely no doubt now we're racing for a sprint finish. The all-green jersey there with the white helmet, and that is Reinhard Jense von Rensburg. And if he were to win or finish second today, he would take the race lead on small time bonuses. And he's obviously getting confident after his ride yesterday when he finished second as well. On the far right, the light blue colours of Garmin Sharp, and I've seen Dan Martin staying up here. Now Dan Martin will not contest this sprint finish at 2 kilometres to go, but he doesn't want to lose time. He doesn't want to get it caught out now as they're running towards the finish. 1.5 kilometres, slightly less to the right hand turn. Absolutely crucial, I believe, if you're going to win the stage. Matthew Heyman at the front, 2010 Commonwealth Games champion in Delhi. Team Sky look as though they're getting it right this time at the moment. The second rider is Edwald Bosenhagen. The rider behind him is Ben Swift. Now they need more lead out men than that for this corner, otherwise they're going to have to use other wheels, because I think you need probably 2 riders in front of a rider to get him up to the line today. Cannondale moving up with a bit of speed now too. Jonse van Rensburg in that dark green leader's jersey of the points competition to the right of our picture, just marshalling wheels. And I think Luka Mecic is also up there as well. 2 likely sprinters there. Closing in on that final right turn here now. This is going to be it. So look at the face on Bosenhagen on the right there. He looks up to see where the bend is, sees it. As soon as they come round this point, they will see the finish, but it is absolutely 500 metres to the line now. Caleb Ewan is in second place, but they've only got 1 man left on the front, and it's a 450 ride off the front now, and that's going to be too far. Bosenhagen is looking at Swift, but Swift is gritting his teeth, and Bosenhagen himself who's kicking now. Well, Caleb Ewan's had to go, but he's gone at 200 metres to the line. It might be too far for the youngster. And look at the left here. Tyler Farrer's come out of the field from absolutely nowhere, challenging Bosenhagen over the top of him. And Tyler Farrer gets his first win for exactly 1 year. That was an incredible sprint. When we show you that again in slow motion, he has come from the depth of the pack. And that was an incredible spin, and draws a light to the fact that you don't need to be in the first 6 round that bend. But Tyler Farrer, who leaves the team Garmin Sharp at the end of this season, has said all week he wanted to leave on a high, and he's got his first win of the year. That's a terrific ride for the American. And it's his Australian teammate here, Steele von Hoff, who's first to reach him, saying well done. But really, he just came out of nowhere in that sprint. Incredible sprint finish. One of his best wins, I think. Now watch the far right of your picture, because that's where the action is. Caleb Ewan tries to go. When he realises they're all coming, he jumps early, too early to win the day. Bosenhagen tries to go as well. Even Jense van Rensburg in the dark green jersey. Come look at the top. This man came out of nowhere. Open space on the far side. and driving all the way, still accelerating, head and shoulders above the other sprinters who were scrabbling for second place. And it's Metzig who just gets the line in second. Nicholas Mace in third position there as well. And Hoffman is the rider in the light green Belkin colours on the right. I think he'll be in fourth place. But Metzig on the far right, he grabs second. Watch the wheels on the line. 1, 2 and 3 on the left of our picture is Nicholas Mace. What a great sprint. No doubt who the sprinter was on this day, because that's how a pure sprinter wins stages. Tyler Farrar, his first win of the year, and his first win for the year. All of the riders coming in the same time. It should ensure pretty much the same overall standings as we go into the big mountain stage tomorrow. 6 climbs, and the 6th climb, first category, the steepest, is 12 kilometers high, and it comes right to the finishing line tomorrow. So that's going to be a very decisive day in this race. And for the leader down into Beijing on Tuesday, well, he can do a lap of honour, while the sprinters should fight out the last stage. Farrar may be there again, but what he has done is given himself a nice little lead as well in the points competition now. He started off well, taking the first sprint of the day, then he stayed in that pack as long as he could and popped out when it mattered. Well, let's have a look at the stage result first. Tyler Farrar winning in 4 1/4 hours today for about 110 miles. Luca Metzig second, Nicholas Mace third, Hofland getting fourth, all the sprinters, Maximiliano de Casey getting fifth, and Ed Bosenhagen in sixth, and the Van Poppels sharing the honours there, the brothers, 7th and 8th. Well, all the sprinters triumphed in the end, but poor old Caleb Ewan had to be content with 10th. All right, well, let's see what Tyler Farrar has to say now.
Tyler, first win of the year, beautifully timed in the end.
Yeah, it was a long time coming this season. It was a year of seconds and thirds and fourths, so to finally win so close, maybe one of my last chances of the year, I'm really happy.
Pace was very high at the end, and Caleb Ewan was the first one out. He went just a fraction early, but you timed your run beautifully.
Yeah, I think I had the legs, but there was definitely some luck involved there, because it was a hard day, and I just barely made it over the last climb, and I had a real hard time getting back to the front of the race. I mean, I think I came out of that last corner really way too far back, and I just got lucky that a hole opened up and I was able to go for it.
Pretty much the end of the run for the sprinters, other than the last day, of course, but tomorrow all the work for Dan, because the Queen's stage, and for the team it's a big day.
Oh, for sure. You know, we came here with the main objective of trying to win the overall for the Tour of Beijing, so I'd say everything's on track, and I hope he's got the legs tomorrow.
All right, well done today, first win of the year, and it's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
Well done.
Well done, Tyler Farrar. Happy with that one for sure. And there he is on stage receiving the stage winners prize. He'll also wear the green jersey as outright points leader tomorrow by just a few points over Metzig. And he may have to wait till the last day to see what he does about that. There's the overall situation. The first 5 riders exactly the same as this morning. Luca Metzig with that second place bonus gets a 6th overall for the time being now. But the man in the hot seat, of course, is Philippe Gilbert. So how does he feel after his day in red?
Philippe, good day, still in the lead, and big battle ahead tomorrow now.
Yes, it was not an easy day today. It was really cold also with the headwind on the last 90k. But yeah, team controlled well, and then at the end we also get the help from some sprinter teams. And then yeah, I was not really taking risk in the final because it was very dangerous again.
The job though was to stay in the lead, and that's what you've done. And tomorrow, you know, it's an interesting day, big climb, summit finish. Do you think you can hold on to the lead after tomorrow?
I have no idea. I don't know. Some guys say this climb is hard, some guys say no. But what I saw on the graphic is a 12k climb, and we will see. I mean, I'm in good shape. It's not so many good climbers here, so if I lose the jersey, I can also stay in a good position and still have a point for the World Tour, so it's also important.
Goal to keep the team on the podium of the World Tour is looking good?
I think so. Behind us it's Quick Step, and till now they didn't get points, so it's okay.
How motivated are you to see if you can punish yourself up the final climb tomorrow and stay in the lead?
I mean, we will see. I guess it will be attacks from everywhere. So we will see.
And finally, conditions today a little better than yesterday, which is good, and it looks like it's clearing up too for the final few days.
Yeah, it's looking good. Today was better. We were able to breathe like almost normally, so it was better. Yeah.
Okay. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
So at the end of the first of 2 days in the hills around northern sectors of Beijing, Philippe Gilbert now takes it to the high mountains tomorrow. He is a good climber when he wants to be. He might be a difficult man to dislodge. We'll have all of the answers this time tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.